What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Late Night Garage with Nick. We are still working on our first version of our Ender switch wire. And so I think I finally have the nut cracked. And so I'm going to go through a couple things because I am going to reflash the default Pi load. And so for doing that, we're going to go ahead and power the printer off. We're going to just rotate the printer onto its side. That was the screen falling over. No big deal. And with the printer on its side, go underneath the power cable. We're going to go ahead and we're going to pull the eMMC module out of the unit. Those are Phillips head, that's right. What am I doing? And so we're going to reset the eMMC, and I finally figured out, after much dismay, where I needed to go in order to figure out how to do the make menu config file. I hate that these are not magnetic. It's going to make this thing a pain in the butt to put back in once I get it reflashed. Come on. Alright. I may have to flip it up again. Okay. I realize that I am not on my normal screen and you guys cannot see. Alright. Back to it. There we go. Chat rate 1. Interesting. I still don't know how to pull up the chat window. Maybe I should have figured that out by now. So anyway, we turned the unit on its side and we pulled out the eMMC module. And I have this handy dandy tutorial that I was looking at from All3D, Clipper install, easily explained, and this is where I kind of found the information finally on how to get into it. So what I am going to do is I am going to go here, I'm live right now. Live chat. Remember to guard your privacy settings by your community. So it said I had a chat rate of something, and I guess it was this little guy that popped in here. Hello, out there? Question mark? Exclamation point? Oh look, my audio's on. I'd kill the audio coming through the TV. And we'll go to the audio on the camera. Alright. So anyway, we just removed the eMMC module from the MKS Pi board. I'm going to take that and find my brilliant red so I don't lose it. This is my adapter with the nub on it, so I can't plug this in the wrong way. And we're going to reflash this bad Larry. Oh gosh, why do I keep doing that? Move this over away from the edge. It's too fat with that on there. Move that, plug that in, turn that on. Hopefully dropping it didn't break it. Alright, so now we're going to jump back in. Alright, we're going to format it first. So we're going to format this. I don't know why it's saying 256. There's no way that's a 256. is, but whatever. I'm just going to cancel that out. So I lost video there, so we're a minute and 35 seconds left in the flash. And so what I'm most curious about on this is I went into Disk Manager and I took a look at the eMMC module. It says it's 8 gig, but it's 7.28 gig is what's being displayed. And so I went ahead and just removed all of the separate partitions that were on there. With the removal of the partitions, going back into Boolean Etcher, and then previously it was asking me, hey, you need to format the disk, you need to format the disk. And so this is kind of interesting because now it's not telling me it needs to format, because it's telling me it doesn't need to format. It's now using that full total 7.28 gig of unallocated space, and hopefully it'll array it in a fashion that will make sense and we get the boot image and everything back in there. If it doesn't, maybe I've owned myself. I don't know yet. We'll continue to work the firmware troubleshooting on it. But I think that the flash image should work on an unallocated space for both the boot and Clipper. I think. That's what my uneducated brain is telling me should happen. So 3, 2, 1, and we are done. Now we're going to validate for another 2 minutes. Once that's validated, we're going to go ahead and close out Fluid, because Fluid's down. I'm going to leave all these up because these have all been resources that I've been looking at as I've been going through my build. And so hopefully this will point you guys. But this is probably the most informative document because I've been trying to figure out where the heck do you go to get the make menu config command, and I wasn't able to do it when I secure socket handle loaded in by IP into the system. And now that I was able to, okay, hey, I have to go to the Clipper directory and use the command in the Clipper directory because that's where the program exists. And so hopefully we're good now. Again, I still got to set all the parameters and the config and everything else, and I just want to get it set, and I believe I'm going to have to work on setting a parameter in order to flash the Creality board. I may have to pop the Creality board back out in order to do a SD card flash over to Clipper firmware versus using what's over in the serial commands in order to have the MKS Pi board flash it via USB. So we'll play around with that, and hopefully we can get it flashed in there. Okay, so let's go back to Blame It Etcher. 17 seconds left. Time to go refill the frosty cold beverage. With me. It's kind of a fun day because I went down to my local brewery, Gamecraft Brewing Company, and I picked up my latest half barrel. And my latest half barrel has been freshly tapped, and so I am sipping on some very fresh, right off the tap, first couple pours. All right, so we are done with Belena Etcher. So now we should be able to go back over to Disk Manager, and we're going to refresh. And there we go. And so as we can see on our Disk Manager was able to pull up, and we have 16 meg unallocated. The boot drive, the healthy partition for Clipper, and we got 784 megabytes of unallocated space over here. I'm not even going to worry about that or that. I'm just going to let this thing do its business. Okay, so from here, we should be able to go down and eject. And I lost camera. We're back. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and eject USB storage device. I'm going to turn off my module. I'm going to take our eMMC load, and now we're going to reinstall our eMMC load into the printer. Down. I still don't have really a good way of doing this yet. All right. So here, we can set our eMMC back into our Pi board. First of 2 tiny screws, and I realized I'm covering all of this up. We're going to shrink this down for right now. So there's one. There's two. All right, so now that we got our MMC module locked down, we should be able to flip it over and hopefully load back into Clipper. So flip the unit back over. All right. This poor ribbon cable. I'm getting some abuse. All right. Now I got to connect the printer back to Wi-Fi, which is really painful on this display. Very painful on the display. Wait for our MakerBase logo to pop up. Come on, MakerBase. There it is. Okay, so we are loading into the MakerBase OS. And there, YouTube is not responding. Interesting, it says YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, viewers will experience buffering. What I probably need to do is I probably need to just upgrade my internet, because I'm more inclined to not pay for more expensive internet if we don't really need it, but now that I'm streaming more or attempting to stream more, I'm kind of like there to help kind of facilitate and figure this out. Okay, so what we're going to do is Clipper is attempting to start. And go into the menu. Well, this is attempting to start, and we're going to go to our network. We're going to get this up on the network. And all the everything that I'm running is basically with the Sabur kit. I'm not doing anything outside of the Sabur kit. Come on. Menu, internet, or menu network. Back. Okay. All right, we are connected to my network. All right, that took a little bit. All right. The TS35 screen is okay, but man, it is hard to type things on or get set up. So, which is fine. I mean, I don't mind having to work it or use it or do it. It's just the touchscreen is a little finicky and it displays the information, but mostly we're going to be IPing into it. So now that we're on the network, I'm going to go ahead and IP into the printer to make sure that we are up on mainsail. So from here, I should be able to open a new browser window. And we're going to expand this out a little bit. So I should be able to come to my browser and 192.168.86.55. And we are into Clipper. Okay. From here, we need to do a couple different things. So we're going to go ahead and serial into the printer. So the board that I'm running is a Creality board. It's the Creality 4.2.7 board, and I've said that so many times over the past couple videos. And so that 4.2.7 board is the one with the silent separate motors, and so that's the config file that we're going to be using once we get into the setup. And so, yeah, we're going to get after it here in a minute. I guess I should be using like this camera because I got my thing extended over there. But yeah, we're using the, it's like, I got rid of my 4.2.2 boards a long time ago. I opted for the 4.2.7 boards for the silent stepper motors, even though it's kind of cool to hear the 8-bit singing on the printers, but you know, I don't want to have that with, you know, a printer running Clipper in high speed, or higher speed, I should say, air quotes. But yeah, so now that we're into Clipper, we're going to go to Putty. Once I have Putty open, we're going to drag Putty up here. 192.168.86.55. And I'm going to open a Putty terminal. Once I have that terminal open, I'm just going to log in as MKS. And the password, so the default password for the MKS login is MakerBase. You guys can't see me typing it, but I was typing it. Alright, from here, we're going to go to ls dev. Oh gosh, and I've typed this out so many times that I keep forgetting it over and over and over. So we're going to go here. And so let's see. These are all config. Some more setup, all these different tutorials. And I really need to like start linking these for all the ones that I've used. So imager's done. Not worried about that because we're connected to the network. So I'll go into Putty. I'm not swapping over to Mainsail. I tried that once already and it was just a complete failure. Mainsail did not work. So MKS ls dev serial by, oops, I gotta go back over here. Dev serial by ID asterisk. Alright, so here's my two things we got. So we got our Clipper STM, and so this is our actual Creality board. So that's the one that I need to load in. Both of these actually is what I've been putting in the config file. I don't even know if I need to have both of them in the config file. I've been adding both into the config file. Yeah. And so guys, you're ready to move on. So you have your printer control board, follow the instructions specific to your board to flash the firmware, then update your printer CFG as per any other clipper install. And so this is the part where I kept running into problems, is I was like, how the heck do I actually go through it? And so this article from All3DP, Clipper Install Simply Explained, is probably the one that I found the most. And again, this is just a generic Raspberry Pi. We're not running Raspberry Pi, we're running the MKS Pi board. And so we got the image loaded, we choose that, got the storage, hit the right, insert the SD card, it's your Raspberry Pi, except we're running the eMMC module. Once it's started, first boot could take some time, yada yada yada, check when it's finished. It's like, I'm not even going to put that address in because I know the IP address. And so we've already checked the IP address because we were able to get into Clipper. So now that we're up on Clipper, now we're going to go into Putty. And so once we have Putty open, we went to open a secure socket handler for connecting into the printer. So now that we have that up, I'm going to extend this window a little bit. From here, finally connected your SSH, so this is step 8. So this is where it was probably the most interesting. So normal command line prompt, and so we have our these, so I'm just going to take these, I'm actually going to copy these over to another notepad file, and so these should actually not be changed from what this is. So that's that, except one of the things we need to do is inside the config we're going to set it to a specific baud rate, and that's from research, is that the baud rate for these older Creality boards is going to be baud rate of 11.5200, because Clipper, I believe, defaults to 22,5000 for the baud. And so I'm just taking a look at these. So STM32F042X6, 1500, 3500, 343. So all of that remains the same, so we don't need those. Great. Moving on. So moving on, what we're going to do is and this is the part that got me, is normal Linux prompt, you will want to go to the Clipper directory using the CD Clipper. And so this is where we go, CD Clipper, to get into the Clipper directory. As you can see, the Clipper directory pulled up, and now we're going to go, and it's like, I couldn't for the life of me figure out, let's like, make, and it's like, oh gosh, what is it? Make menu config. And so I could not figure out, where is this make menu config command that everybody is talking about? And so you actually have to go into the Clipper directory in order to get the list for where the make application is. And so now that we're in the make section of it, we're going to go into make menu config, and that's actually going to load into this menu. And so the key part about this is right here, is enable extra low level configuration options. This is what everybody has been saying across the entire board. And so enable extra low level configuration options. So now we should be able to go in here and go into the microcontroller architecture. And so yes, now I'm at my next impasse. So if you're upgrading existing printer, you will often find the right values at the top of the printer's configuration file. Otherwise, check the controller manufacturer's documentation or the electronics board itself. STM32 series MCUs in particular will have full MCU type printed on it, so you may need a black light and magnifying glass to read it clearly. Yeah. Okay, so we're here. The next part. Flashing Clipper onto the microcontroller. So we should be able to go to June and set that microcontroller stuff. So 2.7. Alright, pseudo service clipper stop. Something similar to this. Okay, so let's actually go to alright, yep, got it. Documentation. Installation. Clipper configuration, build flash the microcontroller. So compile microcontroller, comments at the top of the configuration. Comments at the top of the picture configuration file should describe the settings that need to be set during the make menu config. Look in the Clipper config directory. So if we go here and we go to config examples. Also presumed during the right picture configuration file that was stored in the Raspberry Pi, and appropriate configuration can be found by looking in the Clipper config directory. I wonder, Creality 4.2.7, Clipper config. This all still learning all of this, and reading is key. At least that I found. I mean, let's see. So microcontroller architecture, Linux processes. Oh gosh, I forget there's some things that need to be turned. Let's see. Escape leaves the menu. G-cabin, set of microcontroller, startup string. Escape. All right, so let's see. Microcontroller architecture Linux. Enter. Duet. SADM. STM32 is what we need to do. Microprocessor STM32 process module, microcontroller architecture. Okay, so, oh gosh, what were the source documents I was looking at? So, let's see. selected STM32F103 28 KIB bootloader offset. So come on. No. Go back. Okay. So we're gonna hit escape. No. So we're gonna go make menu config. Enable extra low. Microcontroller architecture. STM. Okay, so processor, model, microcontroller architecture, X6 variant, per giga, bootloader, set 8 KB bootloader, no. Yep. Okay, so processor model is the STM32F. So if we go back to our text doc, STM32F042. So we're on F042. And microcontroller architecture, STM32. And we have the STM32F402 or 042. And I wonder, actually, I go in here. Let me take a look at what the actual config states. We're going to use our magnifying glass. By magnifying glass, I mean we're going to use our phone and zoom in to take a photo. Okay, so if we take a look at it, it is actually an STM32F103. And so we see it on there. I took a picture of the actual chip. So it's the STM32F103. You guys can't see it. So let me shrink that down. You guys can see it, so I turn the unit on outside, and actually I just took a picture of the chip on the board itself. So there it is right there. The STM32F103. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Hold on. No, back this way. Just bring it right all the way up front. Oh my gosh, I'm just terrible at looking at my camera while trying to bring this down. Yeah, there's the F103. So we'll call it the F103. So let's go back up to our process controller, or process model, F103. We have we'll go with the 28K IB bootloader. Clock reference is going to be 8 megahertz crystal. Computer interface is PA11, PA12. And And so this is where I think we need to go in and take a look at which one we're connected to. So if I go to my downloads and I look at my 4.2.7 board schematic, and these are going to be going over to the USB. I'll bring this back up a little bit. Micro SD socket, micro USB. Some micro USB. So this is for the board, this is for the reality board. So I need the actual out on. I think it's going to be the PA. Let's see. MKS Pi. Oh gosh, it'll be schematic. Actually, I think it'll be pin out. Pin out. PA1 or PA2? Alright, yep, that's fine. Is a pinout that's actually listed. Alright, so neither here nor there. Let's see. Whatever. We'll try serial on USART1 for PA10, PA9. Baud rate to be 11 fun. Baud rate 11. Oh gosh dang it. Cancel. Baud rate 1152. Oh gosh. 115200. Enter. Now we should be able to. Let's go back over to not that one, not that, not that. Okay. Just close that window out. Close that window out. Okay, so yeah, I did have another window. Okay, so now. Okay, so new first, extra low configuration, STM32, F103, processor, bootloader offset to 28 kilobytes, block, USAR to 10.9. Okay, so that's all fine. So basically I'm just matching what another client was able to do with a 427 board with what I'm programming here. Baud rate for serial port is 115200. PAO. Yeah, so we should go here. Pins. GPIO pin set at microcontroller startup string. Until PA0. PA0. Enter. PA0 GPIO pins is okay, so now we can run make to build firmware. How do I escape to leave menu, save configuration, yes. Now we should type make. Okay. All good, all good, all good, all good, all good things, all good things. And so now we're compiling the firmware that's going to be loaded onto the Creality board. And while that happens, we will refresh the Frosty Beverage with this brand new tapped half barrel. Yay! So what's great about this is I'm going through and I'm figuring out all this stuff as I'm going through the processes of getting this put together. And it's going to be my own reference material when I go ahead and I build my second unit. Because I'm building two of them. Because why not? All right. Okay. Now I got to figure out, how do I get the clipper.bin file off the MMC module and over to the unit? Okay, so no formulas gonna help me. I'll say the tips gonna give. So how do I know if the printer flash card I'm still getting MCU and able to connect? Okay, so so you pull the clipper.bin file out. Making out clipper.elf, creating hex file out, clipper.bin. So I have my compiled thing now. How do I get it? Last view, the clipper defaults to 010 Pro serves so how do I move? How to move clipper.bin to the SD card? And most people search this, so bin clippers. So I said occupy, where do I get the bin file? I'm super tired. So struggling. Okay, so clipper, configuring, probably OBS. Got that. Got that. See, clipper config example Cartesian printer.
this image. After select Octopi, get clone, get clipper, 3D clipper. So one thing I need to do is I need to go back over to my MKS Pi board. Let's see, one of these two. Close this entire window out. Okay. Moving right along. These guys are still outside. Let's see. Close that out, close that out. These are all the things I've been researching on how to do this. There's that one that I want to leave open. That's the thing that I have up on the other screen. Installation, config, prepping the OS. Type a new config. So this will be like this. This config should have its own unique serial number. So for common microcontrollers, could be flash. So okay, so we should be able to go back into PuTTY. And we should be able to go to so we're going to go back to the root. We should be able to do sudo service clipper stop. Maker base. Oops. Maker base. Come on. Okay, so sudo service clipper stop. Okay, now make flash device equals dev serial by ID USB 1A86 underscore USB. Actually, this should be coming from here. So USB underscore serial dash I have to 0 dash port 0. Let me check that again. Flash device equals dev serial by ID USB 187. Interesting. Underscore USB serial I have to 0 dash port 0. Okay, now I should be able to bring this back up. Enter. That did not work. Make flash underscore device equals dev serial by ID USB. Let me do it. Device equals dev serial. ID USB 1A87 underscore USB. USB underscore serial dash IF00 dash port, not poet, 0. Dev serial by ID USB 1A87 underscore USB underscore serial dash IF00 port 0. Interesting. So C space clipper. So if we do it from the clipper directory, let's try that now. So make flash device equals dev serial by ID USB dash 1A87 underscore USB underscore serial dash IF00 dash port 0. Flashing out clipper bin to dev serial, failed to flash, unable to find TTY device. Okay, so the TTY device. Device is already input loader mode. It can be flashed with Webcam or flash. Sending flash via 3x3 serial and use makes. So I think we should be doing make serial flash underscore device equals dev serial by ID USB A87 underscore USB underscore serial dash IF0 dash port 0 prot 0 port 0. Can I find an old serial ID? Let's see. So I think what I got to do is I have to take the clipper bin file and then put that on an external SD card and then manually plug it into the 4.2.7 board and then flash it from the SD card to the 4.2.7 board. So we'll shrink this down a little bit, and I got to figure out how to extract that bin file over to. So yeah, lots of learning occurring as I go through this. Let's see here. Hey, somebody popped in and gave us a view. How exciting. Just take a sip of beer real quick. All right, the good news is that we've got our Clipper configuration file set up. And so now it's a matter of trying to figure out how to get this to flash over to the MKS Pi board, or from the MKS Pi board over to the 4.2.7 Creality board. So oh gosh dang it. Okay, so yeah, it's like this guide is for Octoprint, and we're not running Octoprint necessarily, we're running Fluid, but it should technically be the same. So let's take a look at 4.2.7 board from clipper. Attach clipper, process at the end, and then you config, that's all good. So this is the other one that I have up. So I could do some debugging RPI and RPI. Six frames in like a girl. So that actually brings up an interesting question. So let me go back to the photo that I had. So the RET 6. So mine is the RET 6. So you may have to recompile it. Does everybody have the RET 6 variant of the microchip? So you need to compile with only the 10 KIV for the rare. Okay, so we'll go back into here. And so we're going to go back into make menu config. Okay, so back into the make menu config because we have the. So we're gonna double check everything. So the STM32 processor type, the F103, only the 10 KIV for the rare STM32 F103 X6 variant. And so for there, possibly so does that mean that I leave the 28 KIV bootloader? Alright, so I'm going to go through that. That all looks fine. Okay, so now we're going to go to escape, save config, yes. Now we're going to go to make. So we're going to recompile the clipper config file. No, not the clipper config, but the clipper bin file, and that'll be the firmware that'll get loaded into the 4.2.7 board. And so we're establishing all the parameters in the make menu config to tell the board, the chipset type, the boot load, everything else. That way it can talk so that the MKS Pi board can talk to the Creality 4.2.7 board. Okay, so now we have clipper.bin, creating a hex file out clipper.bin. So how do I move? Let's see. Process yours into the flash firmware and connect. Console display is connected to the host via TMP printer 115200 firmware version. So how do I get the bin file extrapolated out of the Pi board so I can put it onto an SD card so I can load it over to there? So I need to how to export clipper.bin to flash 4.2.7 board. And lots of people ask this question. Home Pi clipper out. So I wonder if I can FTP into it. So FTP colon 192.168. Oh gosh, 86.55. Sure, whatever. FTP on 192.168.86.5. FTP 192.168.86.55. So let's do. How do I connect? Man, it's been a while since I've actually used FTP. Actually, fuse for FTP. Okay, so let's exit. Quit. Exit. Never mind. I'll just close it up. Okay. How do I export clipper.bin? Where do I get the bin files? Installation. Noise image. Yes, yes, yes. So does that mean that I gotta pull the board back out? Alright, so I'm gonna pull the board back out of the unit. So we're gonna shrink this video feed down. And we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna pull the eMMC module back out. I'll plug it back into the computer and see if I can find this bin file. Alright. So we're going to go ahead and close this session. Okay. Alright, so we're gonna. I wish I could get this. Alright, neither here nor there. Let's get after it. So we're gonna shut down the printer. Pick the darn thing up again. Rotate it. Put some more scratches into my workbench because why not? Okay. Because these are non-magnetic screws, which is really annoying. Alright, so now we're going to pop the eMMC module back out. Alright, now I'm going to go over to the computer. Put our eMMC module in here. Plug that up. Boot D. Without scanning. Okay. So that's giving me my boot load. Okay, search boot. Clipper. So let's go to, oh gosh, what is it? Oh, disk manager. Partition 2, but I cannot view anything on it. Okay, great. Okay, so let me try this. How to flash 4.2.7 flipper.bin. How do you install a compact PC connects to your USB? Let's see. Alright, so let's disconnect the eMMC. Let's get the eMMC plugged back in the computer and we'll continue to figure this out. Okay. Let's go ahead and show you guys down so you guys can see what I'm doing instead of just like not doing anything. Gosh, how is it 2 o'clock in the morning already? Like seriously. I don't have enough time in the day in order to do all the things that I want to do. Alright, so we're going to take the eMMC module, we're going to put the eMMC module back in. So this has just been another long night of playing around with the Pi board and playing around with the Creality board, which is fine. I mean, it's actually been not bad. We've made some progress. I mean, I actually got the bin file established to flash the 4.2.7 board with my RET 6 version with the 10 kbps. All right. Fire that back up. Okay. Come back over here. board to boot to the firmware so that USB serial device is visible. Can't control the stock LCD, but it is so good. Sri Lanka. So. Right. So, another night where I have not made too much progress, unfortunately. We're getting closer though. So let's go back here to putty. Alright. 192.168.86.55. Log is in as MKS, major base. MKS pi. One thing I actually should do, now that I think about it, is before I do any of this, is run software updates. Finish. Software updates. Update. More beer needed.
Awesome. Just spilled beer because it foamed over.
That's great. Right. Up to date, update clipper. Which means I probably need to clear my terminal connections. So I'm going to go ahead and kill that. Yes. We're going to go ahead and restart Clipper. Back to software updates. Not worry about mainsail and update. I mean, I might as well just update everything. And then that'll probably be it for tonight. Just getting this thing up and running is lots of good lessons learned. Lots happening. Finally figured out how to go into make menu config and get everything set up for my specific control board. Now I just got to get that bin file for the firmware that we're going to flash to the Creality board exported. I have no idea how. Maybe it'll be under files. Finish. Finish. Okay, those are all up for today. Check for updates. Jobs, history, tune, configuration, system, file browser. Office history, tune, configuration. Okay. How do I export clipper.bin? There's got to be a way to. Yes, I understand that. It's going to create the clipper.bin. To find this file so I can save to an SVU class using enemy and add this. Explained here. It is not. It is not a. Yeah, I'm too tired, so I say, ask me again and I'll help. Sounds like she was when I said say that hi to realize the SSH said it only happened. Yes, I gotta check that. How do I get and so I guess what I need to do is I need to that 32, so okay, start. Yep, don't care. Format complete, okay. Eject. Check this out. You get this, and I think I'm going to call it a night because I am racking my brain on it. That's fine. So I got to figure out how to take. I have to figure out how to take the clipper.bin file off of the MKS Pi board and then import it into the Creality board to flash the firmware for the Creality board so that these two control boards will talk to each other. And if I have time at work, maybe I'll poke around with it and take a look and see if I can get a solid answer. But yeah, another successful yet unsuccessful night here in the late night garage with Nick. But hey, we're working through the issues and we're going to get this thing up and running, and it's going to be awesome. And build number 2 is going to be so much easier, I think. We'll figure it out. Anyway.